Hello, I'm combining one of my video reviews with one of my escaping the city videos because this thing is a lot to do with escaping the city. I actually bought it when I was in the city, and what is it? It is a huge mega battery, and it's also got an inverter in which is, in short, converts 12 volts direct current, which is on the batteries inside this box, into 240 volt alternating current, which comes out of these normal main sockets, which is super useful. And of course, it's portable, so you can just carry it around anywhere, plug in things, and you've got mains power everywhere. And what's more, it can provide up to 1500 watts. So I bought this to actually run a mower off. I've got a fly mower that uses something like 1200 watts, and it meant I could take this to the allotment and use mains powered tools. For about half an hour, it would run a fly mow for, which was more than enough. And being able to mow the grass with a fly mow rather than having some kind of petrol powered thing or a strimmer or whatever is a bit of a dream. But moving on to the countryside, my house has got big grounds, and even the extension lead I had wasn't long enough to reach some of the places I wanted to mow or use an electric saw. So this was brilliant for a while, and this was going to be quite a good review. There are a few minor things I had quibbles with, but it's going to be a very bad review. So I'll tell you the good bits first. It comes with itself. It's heavy, but it's not impossibly heavy. You can lug it around. I could probably carry two, I think, one in each hand. It comes with 240 volt mains outputs, 3 of those. Now, my first quibble would be I'd like those to be slightly more spaced apart, because sometimes plugging in a plug doesn't quite leave you enough space, particularly if it's like a big plug. Doesn't give you quite enough space to plug other things in. You can always plug in an extension lead, of course, so not too bad. It has also got 4 USB sockets and 2 USB-C sockets, 2 inputs, so you can use a solar panel. I used to charge this up with a solar panel. It's great being able to carry off, camping, carry off a load of sunlight in a box, which was great. And you can also, comes with a charger, which is in this nice little bag, which you plug into here to charge it up. And you could also plug in like a windmill or a water wheel. It takes a direct current input up to 20 volts. There's a 12 volt output there, either via a car cigarette lighter socket plug thing, or a couple of sockets. Is that it? Oh yeah, and there's a special output for jump starting cars. I guess hence the name Jump 1500. It can jump start cars. That bit didn't come in the bag with stuff. What do you get? You get the not a bad user manual. It's got quite a lot in there, including all the how to jump start your car with it, but it didn't come up with the wire for that. So I'm not quite sure if that should have been in there or not. It comes with a big chunky power supply, 20 volts, and a clover leaf type socket, so you can unplug it as well. It's quite handy. It comes with a USB to USB-C wire, always useful those. And I'll put it down somewhere. I think, oh yeah, some other ones as well. Yeah, USB-C to USB-C. I guess you can plug it in one of these USB-C things. Any more quibble did it? Well, I mean, it's quite simple to use. Oh, the last feature, I'll turn it round. On the back, there is a light switch. You press that once to make it dim. This is a big LED light, and you press it again and again, and it gets brighter and brighter. I think it flashes in the final one. So if you're kind of lighting your tent or something and wanting to go to sleep and you put it on dim, you have to kind of put it to brightest mode and then flashing mode and then turn it off, which will probably wake you up again. But still. And the other thing, this maybe isn't the best place for a light when you're trying to light a room and you've got your light sort of 3 inches above the ground, you're just casting huge shadows. I don't know where you would put it really. I've seen some similar batteries to this, which have a kind of stalk on the top with a light on, which would seem more sensible. Or maybe just bring along a light and plug it in. Makes more sense. Okay, the bag is great. It's a bag that's bigger than it needs to be, which a lot of suppliers gives you the absolute minimum size bag, and trying to fit things back in exactly the way and get them zipped up is pretty difficult. Anyone who's packed up a tent will agree with that, I think. Okay, anything more to say about it? Well, a few quibbles, minor quibbles. I used to charge this from a solar panel, like I said, and it displays how many watts input is coming, which is always quite useful because you can position the solar panel and see it's taking 49 watts to 20 volts input, and then you kind of move it around and you're getting kind of 53 watts, and you think, oh yeah, that's a better position for sunlight, and I'm charging up. I could get about 80 watts on a really sunny day from the solar panel I've got, which is pretty good, and it would also tell you how many hours it would be before it charged up. And when you plugged in something and using the power, it would tell you how many hours of power you had left. Hours of power, how about that? And also how many watts were being drawn. And if you were charging at the same time as drawing power, I think it kind of worked out between the two, how many hours the battery had left if you were charging at the same time. But the display on this one, this particular model, or this particular unit, used to kind of flash up and down quite a lot, even when I was using the mains powered charger, which you would think would be giving you a fairly stable amount of watts of power. The number jumped up, from sort of getting 2 watts to 20 watts to 200 watts, and I think this is meant to supply 200 watts, this power supply. But if it says on the back 180 watts, it says, yeah, so that's probably the quickest way to charge this. I don't know if you could plug in 2 of these at once. I think probably not. I think it's got a maximum amount that you can charge it, maximum charging speed. So yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say about it. You plug in things, power comes out. You can find all the specs online. It's supposed to last something like 3,000 charge cycles, and a charge cycle isn't just using some power and charging up again. A charge cycle is like a whole draining the battery entirely and charging it entirely, I think. If you drained it by 20% and then charged it up by 20%, I think 5 times doing that would count as a charge cycle. And after those 3,000 full charge cycles, it's still meant to give you 80% of its capacity. So that sounds pretty promising. And the price was amazing, too amazing maybe. I got this for about £400, and they usually more like £600-700, this kind of thing. There's quite a lot of similar batteries that will give you very high watts outputs. I bought it on eBay, but from a supplier called Vtoman Official Store. So here is the bad bit. This battery is not working. So usually you'd press the mains button there, the fan would whir for a bit, and then you'd have main power, and you could turn on USB or the 12 volts supply, so you could turn these on and off separately, which was quite useful. Because I did find it, if I left like the mains available, even with nothing plugged in, the battery was draining quite a lot just by having that turned on. So it was always good to turn everything off. So I had good times with this. I had it for just over a year, about 3 days beyond a year. Then one day I turned it on, the fan did its whirring and then stopped too soon, which made me a bit suspicious. So, and then it wouldn't turn on. I tried charging it and I tried plugging things in, and no power came out. And I got a bit of a burning smell, which I really didn't like, because we've all heard and seen horror stories and horror videos about sort of these kinds of batteries exploding and sparks flying everywhere and huge fires coming from them. The batteries in this one, I think, are lithium ferric ones. I think they call them a LiFePO. I'm not sure what that stands for. I guess the Li is lithium, the Fe is for iron. Don't know what the PO is. Potassium? Don't know. Don't know if it says in here or not. But the manual claims it's super safe and it can't. You can't draw too much current from it. You know, if you plugged in a 3 kilowatt kettle, it wouldn't explode the battery. It would just give it, I think 1800 watts is its limit. Or no, 1500. It would give it 1500 watts. So I guess you'd have a slow boiling kettle rather than a boiling battery. But yeah, this just stopped working. And I got in touch with Vtoman, and I figured some component on the main board must have burnt out. I got in touch with the company, and it all seemed quite promising. They got back to me quite quickly and said that they don't do repairs, but they can replace whole units, and asked me for my proof of purchase, which I could provide, and asked me to show a video of it not working, so I sent them that. And they said, because I bought it from eBay, well, they didn't quibble and say that it wasn't an official Vtoman seller, so I assume it was. But they put me onto a different email to get my support or warranty replacement or whatever. It's rather surprising. I thought, you know, probably having bought from eBay, I wasn't really going to get a chance to get anything sorted. But the other email address didn't reply, and so I chased up the original email address and the new email address, I think 2 or 3 times over a month or two. Absolutely no reply at all from Vtoman. So I half wonder if the original email was an AI thing, just programmed to be nice to people. But yeah, the actual response after that was nothing. So I am pretty annoyed that this battery is just a heavy chunk of junk, basically, now. And I don't really know how to get rid of it. And what's even more annoying, the output here, I think the jumper cable, doesn't go via all the electronics. So I can get 12 volts output from here, and the battery is fully charged inside. So I've got, you know, many, many hours of 12 volt juice basically in this battery, which I could plug something into here, but I haven't got any 12 volt lights that I can use it for. And of course I can't charge it up either whenever I plug anything into it and try and charge it. I think the display did light up once, but I had a bit of a burning smell. In fact, let's try on camera. Hopefully this doesn't blow up. Let's take a risk. I'm going to plug this in very briefly and see what happens. Yeah, well, there we go. The screen is lit up. It's saying I'm getting 23 watts of charge from the mains. It should be a lot more than 23. I can't smell anything burning yet, and it's telling me I've got a capacity of 1 now. So maybe I have. Maybe it's just drained through being left. It's telling me it's going to take 72 hours to charge. And I think it should take a lot less time than that. Because this thing should be spraying 180 watts. I'm going to unplug that because I really don't trust it. Oh yes, I can smell burning. Yeah, I can smell burning stuff inside there. Pardon me. I'm going to actually take this outside because I really don't trust it. I've taken the battery outside the house because there's definitely a very burning electronic component smell going on. So yeah, I'm going to finish my review without the actual offending battery in my house. And yeah, I'm just really unimpressed with that. No apology from Vtoman, and no offer of replacements. I'm definitely not going to buy a Vtoman product again. I probably will get a battery again of some description, and it'll probably cost a lot more. But I had 1 year and about 3 months use, and I didn't use it a great deal. I've only moved to the countryside about 6 months ago, and I've used it for mowers a few times. Before then, I was using it in the city, and just using it partly as a novelty and occasionally at the allotments for some mowing or sawing. And possibly some of my tools did draw more than the 1500 watts. Yeah, my mower I've been using here drew 1700 watts, but like all the stuff I've seen online says, it can cope with drawing, it can cope with a tool that asks for more power. It just gives it what it can. And I think it will do a boost of 2 kilowatts or 3 kilowatts. So Vtoman, if you're listening, really check your components out, because that's really not good enough. A £400 product that only lasts for a year, really bad. So I've certainly seen some reviews of people that have used Vtomans for a long time and had a successful time and really loved them. So lucky you, you're lucky you haven't had a dodgy one. And I've seen people use them inside their caravans and campers, and I certainly wouldn't put one inside a house or a caravan or tent or anything that I was going to be sleeping in. Definitely not. I can still smell that burning stuff. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I hope that's helped you make your mind up about Vtoman. I haven't got any grudges against them as such, but I'm just rather annoyed that I've been sold something that's really not good enough.